My name is Basil Sagos. I'm the Chief Investigator of Riverkeeper. We are a Hudson River environmental group with responsibility over Newtown Creek in New York Harbor. The simplest way to describe what we do is we track down and stop polluters. Today we're going out to Newtown Creek, and we're actually going to conduct our first patrol of the year. We've been up Newtown Creek maybe 125 times or so, patrolling it, looking for pollution sites, taking out members of the community, and today this is our first in 2006. Christine, hey, so we're getting going right now. I'm thinking it's going to be about 10 minutes. All right, we'll see you in a second. Bye. Yeah, going across from Manhattan over to Newtown Creek, you get an immediate sense how centrally located this body of water is. I mean, the mouth of it is literally right across from 34th Street, in the center of Manhattan, pretty much. Yet you go into the creek and immediately you sort of lose your sense of space in a way, because the creek's been dying for so many years. It's pretty amazing. I mean, historically, it was the busiest waterway in the country. More tonnage of oil, scrap, concrete, other products, more boats were made there than anywhere else. And 50 or 100 years ago, things started to change, and this creek has been dying this sort of slow death ever since. Today, really, the future of the creek is, I think, very much in doubt. What we've been asking for on Newtown Creek is for the retention of industrial property, commercial industrial property, because we think that it is important to have some sort of industry endemic to New York City, not have to ship everything in. The more you ship in, the more pollution you leave along the way. More jobs you create here, or keep here, if you retain industry. So the vision that we're setting forth combines, cleaner water, wetlands, job retention, dredging the creek. Certainly, that's a major problem. The pollution in the creek, much of it settles down to the bottom, and the sediment is so badly contaminated that you actually can't dredge it out. It's so laden with toxins. So part of the vision that we've been working on is to have the creek dredged out so that the businesses can start using it. We're out sort of, I guess, on the west side, on the east side of the East River, just across from 23rd Street, where we launched. And the creek is essentially the dividing line between Brooklyn and Queens right here. It's Queens on our left, Brooklyn on our right. It doesn't take long, obviously, to get from Manhattan to the creek. It's at least a sort of a 5-minute trip, tops. I mean, the creek is a local problem for the communities around the creek, but it's certainly a regional problem, because what comes out of Newtown Creek right here gets into the East River, and the East River flows both ways with the tides and currents. So whatever gets out here is immediately taken down to the Hudson, out to Long Island Sound or the Atlantic. So it's not just a local problem, it's a regional problem for us. If we're going to clean the Hudson, we've got to clean what flows into it, and this is one of the bad things that comes into it. So we just came into Newtown Creek right here. East River, Manhattan over here. Pulaski Bridge right ahead of us. This is actually the halfway point of the New York Marathon. The further you go up the creek, sort of the more it begins to look like a road, it looks less like a creek. It takes these hard right turns, because most of what you're looking at here is fill. It was all salt marsh. All this is essentially just a dumping ground for sewage. This isn't a creek. This is more like a canal. Think of a creek in the mountains where you have trees or communities. Canal, you think more of man-made path, hardened shorelines, lots of industry, lots of commerce. It's not even really a functioning canal anymore. This creek just does not flush out. So the only thing you have actually flowing into the creek is raw sewage when the system overloads, and dirty groundwater that infiltrates the system and comes out through the banks into the creek, bringing oil and contaminants in addition to raw sewage, and it just sits here like this. You know, I don't think that there is a contaminant you wouldn't find here. We found everything from mercury to PCBs, cadmium, oil, sewage, you know, benzene, gasoline, everything, raw product comes out into this waterway. There are no environmental controls here. There really are no environmental controls. What the city has done, what the polluters have done, has been essentially to dump into the creek and let nature take its course. And nature cannot keep up with the amount of pollution that gets into the creek here. This is Shell Oil, which is actually a Saudi company right now. And they've got everything from ethanol to gasoline here, and obviously benzene as well. You can see on the side, Danger Benzene. A little further up, there's a Russian oil company. It's all international. Yeah, we're about to pick up Christine Holowitz, who is an activist in Greenpoint, well-respected, who holds a position at the Newtown Creek sewage plant, essentially as a community liaison.
My name is Christine Holowitz. I am a co-chair of GWAP, which is 40 different organizations in the Greenpoint community. Our mission is to look at open space and, clean environment. The creek has always been very dirty. That's the whole problem. The businesses that were here, I don't think adhere to any rules or regulations.
Before we go anywhere, two things. Dead rat, and this is Amoco's facility right here. Amoco began operating in 1969 at this site. They've had some spills over the years, but they're actually on top of what is currently one of the biggest oil spills in the world. It's ExxonMobil's oil spill, which began just off the bow of the boat. You can see those white tanks back there. 17 million gallons somehow got into the groundwater over a series of decades, periodic leaks and spills, some improper management. The spill today is 55 acres, currently underground between that tank area all the way over to the Kosciuszko Bridge. It's a massive area, in some places 24 feet thick of oil.
That's right.
A few feet below the surface, up to about 40 feet below the surface. And it extends well back into residential Brooklyn.
That's right.
Hundreds of, maybe thousands of people live on top of floating oil. You see everything here, just brew of sewage and oil. I mean, you can see this essentially a sheen here, bluish sheen, in some places rainbow, that just indicates, there is nothing that isn't in this creek right now that's impacting water quality. It's just disgusting. Condom, Doritos wrapper, bubblegum wrappers, straws, tampon applicators, cans. This boom here, essentially put in place to keep oil that might seep through that bulkhead into the creek, to keep it behind the boom. Poland Spring bottles, Hawaiian Punch, certain sewage. I mean, this is absolutely disgusting. This is people dropping litter onto the sidewalk, and the rains take that litter right into the storm drain, and it joins up with the sewer system and then overflows into the harbor during rainstorms. That's why the creek looks like this. The litter that we're seeing here could have been dumped on the street 5-10 miles away. It could have been dumped in the street over in Manhattan. In fact, Lower Manhattan sewage from Lower Manhattan is actually treated at the Newtown Creek sewage plant. And part of what we're here to do today is to document this and bring people here to show them what the problems are like, because unless you show people what Newtown Creek looks like, no one's ever going to have an incentive to do anything about it. I mean, you have to, in some cases, shock people into taking action. And this is shocking. I mean, this is just shocking that we would treat our waterways like this. It could look cleaner. I mean, it could look a lot cleaner. And what we're talking about doing, I think, is striking a balance between industry, commerce, recreation, and a healthy ecosystem. And that's achievable. Look. Wait a second.
Stop. There was a sheen right outside.
Look at this.
Here.
You can see the oil blebbing up from the bottom. You see that? See how it creates these little, reverse raindrops in a way? Over there, you have to be at the right angle for it. But there's plenty of oil coming out. And this is the tip of the iceberg right here.
The lack of public access to this creek has helped all of these companies to do what they are doing.